the first game of the season. I mean, you can't duplicate it later in the year. How exciting is it to just know that the season is going to be underway?
I think, obviously at the end of the year, each year, if you don't win the championship, I think it, just feels even more for that next coming season. So obviously last year we didn't end where we wanted to, and I think we were all, thinking about it this whole summer and just kind of waiting for this day to come just so we could go out there and, you know, take another shot at it. So I think it's an important day. It's a great team we're going against, but you always want to start the season on the right foot. And obviously we've started with at training camp. Felt like had a really good training camp, offensively, defensively, goaltending. Obviously the coaches and obviously the management here too. They brought in some key pieces that I think are going to make us better too. So. I'm just excited to get out there and play, and it's gonna be an awesome environment, and obviously a home opener here. Any game here is so fun to play in, but the home opener is obviously a special one. So can't wait for that first.
So, when you look at the landscape of the NLL, nobody wants to see what happened with Panther City, and the league wants expansion. But it is kind of addition by subtraction, is it not? Because of that dispersal draft, it's like everybody got a little better.
That's the thing. It's such a competitive league as it is, right? Like I feel like any year, any game, you don't know how it's going to go, right? You don't know who's going to win. It's just you see that in sports in general, but I feel like in specific with this league, it's just any night could be one team's night. So just losing a team like that, there's only so many roster spots as it is. So I think that's what made training camp this year so competitive as well. Is not only some key additions, but every team had that, right, with the subtraction of Panther City. So, like you said, everyone's going to be better, and we're going to have to give our best shot every night to pull out some wins. So, I think it's going to be an exciting year. Like I said, I'm really excited with the group we have and the training camp we had, and obviously tonight want to start on the right foot and then keep building till the last game, hopefully the championship.
And speaking of championship, you referenced it at the start of this saying how, if you're a team that doesn't win, you always want more and you want to be better next year. We talked to Mike Hazen yesterday, and interesting point is, sure, this team made additions, but sometimes when you talk about a team getting better, it doesn't always mean you go to free agency, you grab a bunch of players. You guys are largely returning last year's roster, the roster over the last 2 years. How important is it to just get better internally in that dressing room?
I think it's huge, right? And I think that's on each and every one of us for in the whole sports world, right? Each offseason, you got to do your job, right? And your season doesn't necessarily end, or should say your commitment to your team doesn't necessarily end, on that last game. You got to do the work in the offseason to get better for yourself, which in turn makes the team better. So obviously we were all focused this summer. I think we all. We had fitness check-ins. We had, check-in when we got to training camp just to see where we're at physically. And I think, I think everyone came in great shape, and that showed throughout the whole training camp. So, I think something to be said too about consistency, right? With being familiar, especially offensively, with playing with guys, knowing their tendencies and stuff like that. And I feel like as an O group, we pretty much had the same group as last year. And I thought, we had a pretty good year last year, and I think we're going to be even better this year, and I think it's just going to be it's fun playing with those guys, right? But now, hopefully this first game, it's not like we're trying to mesh with new guys. Hopefully as an offensive unit, we could get it going right from the bat.
You were in camp a couple of times now, and you guys go undefeated in exhibition play or scrimmage, however you want to word it. How much of that can you acclimate to the regular season?
Takeaway, right? I wouldn't necessarily say the wins and the losses. Obviously those are great, but I just think that the small details, the plays, right? The getting used to playing with each other. Just getting back into playing the indoor game in itself, right? It's just an adjustment is everything, but. I think training camp, there's definitely a lot we took away and we learned from as a unit, and it's better to learn then than tonight, right, or next week, or whatever it may be. So, we were all obviously ears open, trying to be sponges and learn as much as we can. But you're also competing for a spot, right, in training camp. So I think that pushes everyone to be better too. And so I think we're ready for tonight.
Student of the game, somebody that watches and knows a little bit of everything. Rochester, Las Vegas. It feels like the Knighthawks' focus in the offseason was to strengthen defensively Vegas was to go offensively. Do you kind of see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we definitely, had some key pickups, this offseason on the defensive end specifically. And I just think, what that does in turn for our group is, as you could see, our staff and, our coaching staff and management, they want to win just as much as us players do, right? So they're doing everything they feel they need to make our team the best. So I think in turn, obviously, like you said, those guys over there made a lot of changes on the O end. Us on the D end, it'll be, interesting to see how tonight goes. And, I'm just hoping we start off on the right foot.